A big hello and welcome. It's Kate from Zen Stitching, and I'm super excited to be joining you today for another one of our chats with artists from the Making Zen Online Retreat series. And today I'm so excited to be joining Heidi Iverson. Hello and welcome, Heidi.
Hello, Kate. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Very excited about Zen stitching this year.
But you've done Making Zen for many of our events, so you're
Yeah.
well and truly seasoned. And it's always so lovely to have you join us and share all of your amazingness with us.
Yeah. Because I think last year was the only year that I missed because I was writing the book. But it's like one of those things that I look forward to. I look forward to every year and all like the beautiful community that's like part of it that's always growing. It's just like, yeah, it's a really wonderful, it's a wonderful event to participate in.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled because for me, what I love most is being able to connect with you, with the artists, and just having a wonderful conversations about what you do, how you do it, what makes you tick. And I know as well that everybody else who listens loves to get to know, the artist behind the artwork that quite often we'll see on Instagram or all those kind of things as well. So it's a really wonderful little snapshot into Heidi the person.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it was true. I think I used to also put a lot more selfies up than I then I kind of stopped and I'm like, oh, I'm just like I'm not even I'm just like a pair of hands and a project. Like sort of like this ethereal being now. I don't really exist. So I was like, oh yeah, I should like maybe do a little like front facing again.
I know, but I'm sure I know a lot of people feel, there's also always that apprehension about being in front of the camera as well. Having hands is one thing, but having to smile or whatever, there's always that extra element of, I don't know, trepidation perhaps might be a way to
Yeah,
describe
yeah,
it.
yeah, a little bit, yeah, yeah. That and I think I just also, sort of like during the pandemic, I know it was like different for everybody, but it's sort of like my hair got really, I almost didn't feel like myself anymore. And so it was almost
Mm,
like finding who I became like through that experience and like who I am now, sort of. I mean, it's just like your artistic work changes and you change, like you grow. And yeah, so yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, becoming comfortable in your skin again after maybe not being comfortable in your skin.
Yeah, yeah. I love hearing that. And one of the great ways of, I guess, working through that I find is through that creative process of making and,
Yeah,
through particularly through textiles, because making generally takes a while, stitching a project can take many hours, many days, many months,
mhm. Yes, they
depending
can.
on what we're working on. And so
Yeah,
it gives us the opportunity to reflect and process thoughts and emotions that perhaps we might not otherwise do, when we're busy being busy, that
yeah,
kind of gets put to the side a bit.
yeah. One of the things that I did a lot this year, I'm sort of like I'm kind of recovering a little bit from like an aggravated shoulder injury, which I got just
Mm,
from like writing and then the doing. Like we use our hands so much. Um, And so sometimes when I would want to make something, I just started going back through like unfinished projects and things like that and kind of looking at them and remembering when I made them and like being like, is this something I want to finish? And I was like, well, maybe I need to bring it forward with me. And so I started recycling a lot of unfinished projects and things and like transforming them. And I think it was like an extremely like healing way to deal with things because it was sort of like you didn't always remember what you were doing at that time, but you might have really just needed to stitch, but you didn't really need to truly make something. And so maybe that's why it got set aside. And so like bringing it forward and like adding a few new pieces of fabric and more stitchings and transforming it into something new, I was just like, this is great. I'm going to go through all my old projects. I'm going to make all this new stuff. And it's been fabulous. Like it just, every time I do it, it just like, it makes me feel so good. And I was like, is that because I'm processing like unknown baggage, and then also like the baggage of like having things, because I mean I feel bad when I don't finish a project, and even if I
Mm,
forget about it I feel like it takes up psychic space in a way.
mm,
And so
mm.
then I just am like, oh, that's gone, and I created something wonderful and practical and something I can give to somebody, and like, maybe make them a little bit happy, it just like is this wonderful. Yeah, it's just like, I really like 2020. Well, yeah, I like most of 2025. There's like a lot of stuff I don't like about 2025, but I'm like, creatively right now, I just feel like it's a really like, yeah, it's like an interesting time for me and an interesting
Mm.
space and sharing, and yeah.
Yes. And that's so much fun. I love hearing that that has been one of your focuses is to look at these old works, continue working on them now so that you can put them out into the world. And through that process, there's oh gosh, I don't know if healing is quite the right word, or it's a therapeutic act.
Yeah, I think it's all of those things. It's just, it's
Mm,
really, yeah, it's really interesting. It wasn't something I expected, like
mm,
at all. So yeah, it is. It's, yeah, yeah. I always encourage anybody to do that. Of like, just like, just take it. I know sometimes it can be hard because I used to make people tear out sweaters that they wouldn't finish and stuff like that when I was knitting all the time and designing knitting stuff. And I was like, you can do the same thing, but it's the cutting. I think that's the hard part. It's like, because you're cutting apart something like
yes.
in fabric when you've worked so hard to make something. But I was like, oh, but a piece that's this big, like, I was like, I wish I had one. Um, like you could make a whole bunch of smaller things out of it. And, yeah, yeah.
Mm, mm. That there's so much in that that I wish to unpack. I'm not even too sure where to
I
start,
know.
but
Sorry.
but it's and I guess in some senses it's a way of reframing the focus and also letting go, because quite with a half knitted jumper, for example, and I know I've got a few of those hidden in the cupboard.
You.
Yeah, and like seriously, I should just go and unravel them because I know I'm not going to finish them in their current form of manifestation or
Yes.
state.
Yes.
And that process of unraveling it will actually be therapeutic because I know I'm then being proactive. I can reuse the yarn, I can turn it into something else,
Yeah.
and at the same time free up that space because you're so right. There's something about visual clutter and
Hmm.
also projects that do they take up this
Yeah.
space. And sometimes I think we were talking about it off air, how we carry this guilt with all of these things. I should
Yeah.
get that finished. I should do this. And so once you repurpose it, it's a lifting of the energies and a joy that we can share with ourselves and with others.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. It's like taking the negative and turn it into something like positive and even practical,
Yeah.
because I mean, you too, like, we're lovers of like usable objects.
Mm,
Like, because even art that you hang on your wall, to me, if it's something that's giving you pleasure every time you look at it, it's still, that's a very practical object. It's a
mm,
different kind of use. It's not a physical use, but it's still like, it's still practical. It's still
yes.
usable.
I love that. That's such a great way of describing that because I always see practical things as something that you have to use. But
Hmm.
like you say, it can be practical in the sense that it brings you joy, it elevates the mood, it
Hmm.
might change the way that you think just from looking at it. That's really great.
Yeah, yeah. Because do you ever just sometimes make a piece like beautiful stitching and then just hang it on the wall because you want to look at it for a while before you want to turn it into something? Or do you always just turn it into something right
No, I
away?
always turn it into something. So
Oh,
now I'm going to have to make some things just for the sake of looking at them and bringing joy.
yeah, yeah. I have
Yeah.
a few pieces that I was like, oh yeah, next month, like I have a plan for them, but I was like, I just want to look at them like as a two-dimensional object before I turn them into like a three-dimensional object. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I think it's
and you know, you've got those beautiful artworks behind you, which is that, you know, you've got them up, they're beautiful, and you can look at them and they bring joy. And there's so much interest in each of those as well, like
yeah,
the colors and the layers and the interplay of the stitches. It's yes,
yeah. I
visually
think,
stimulating.
oh, you can't see. There's enough. So there's an indigo version over there that you can't see, but it's this size, and you can actually cinch it up and turn it into a bag.
I was wondering if that's what they were.
But this one, I think, you know what? I think this one you can too. You can actually turn it into a
Mm,
bag by
mm,
weaving. It's based on that picnic bag pattern that I made like years ago, and then it was a free pattern. It's actually a free pattern again. I'll leave it up. I'll leave it up through October, um, and yeah. So it cinches up into this cute little like. I don't think I have one anywhere in the studio because they're all on the wall. But it makes like a little bag like this big ish, but then it
mm,
lays out flat. So the whole idea behind it was that you could sit on it, you could put a picnic in it, you could put a project on it in it, but then you could go out and like either sit on it or make it a little table. Like yeah, it was like a all in one kind of yeah a picnic
yeah,
bag.
love it.
So
Yeah. So cool and so beautiful to look at. So it's beautiful as well as functional, which I always appreciate.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that
Yeah.
one I did do during, I think that was a 2022 project and months,
Mm.
months of sewing. But, you know, it was fine. It was
Yeah,
great.
exactly.
Uh,
But it's nice to have a project like that where you can pick it up and put it down and you kind of you always know where you're at. You know, some projects you put down and then when you by the time you return to it, you're like, ah, where was I and what was I doing on this? And you know, it kind of
yeah.
there is a resistance to getting back into that kind of project. So it's nice that
Mhm.
when it's something like that, you can just pick it up, do some, put it down.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. 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 Or make sure you pin a note onto it so that you know what you were doing. Because there, I had some of those projects too, where I was like, I think that was when I really started cutting stuff up because I was like, I'm like, I cannot remember what I was going to do with this, but I was like, there's kind of a lot of it. I
Mm.
was like, it wasn't a quilt. I was like, oh, I have no, and I would even look. Sometimes I'd go through all the photos in my phone, and I still be like, literally have no clue what I was doing with it. So it's like
Mm.
perfect.
Mm.
So but yeah,
Yeah, and it's great. I really admire that you're looking at these things that are, you know, projects and you're like, let's just cut it up. And that in itself is very freeing because, you know, like sometimes when you go to all of the effort to make something, you don't want to undo it.
oh, you don't. And I think the first time I did it, I was like, am I really, really, really gonna do this? And I'm like, yep, I'm just gonna kind of like, you know, I mean, I think it's helpful not to almost do it with scissors, but to roller cutter because you just put the ruler down and you just cut and it's done. It's done so fast you can't stop. You're like, there's really no time to regret until afterwards. You're like, it'll be fine.
Mm, mhm. It's just like ripping off a band-aid, really, isn't it? Or just jumping straight into the water.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly, exactly. But
Well,
yeah.
that's actually a really good piece of advice because I was going to say, how would you encourage someone who might be kind of like humming and hawing and sitting on the fence about altering a half-started piece? So just jumping in and doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think what I like after the first time I did it, I sort of took because a lot of the things that I make are always they're always small just because you can finish them fairly quickly and then you can have a bigger project too. But it's like to me, it's like really great encouragement to just be able to like, oh, I can get this done in like a couple hours. Like,
Mm,
you know, that's like to me, it's just like, oh, I just really want to make something and I can make it and it's not such a huge investment. I can also give it away and it won't like be like, oh God, that took me a month to make. So I have all these small, like little templates for like all the little crystal pouches and things that I make, but just like all like little things. And so I'll put a piece down and I'll just sort of like lay the different templates down
mm,
and sort of see and kind of sometimes I'll draw like make chalk marks so I can kind of see what it each piece would then kind of look like. And then I put on music, or I'll put on like a podcast or whatever, and then I'll just cut it, and then I'll just gather it all up, and I usually put it away so that I don't
Mm,
have time to like maybe hem and haw or develop any regret for it. I just like put it away so it's no longer this one piece. It's now become all these smaller pieces. And then I go back to it, and then I look at them, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, that is so perfect. And the other ones I'm like, God, that is so boring. And it's like, I've got scraps, I've got thread. I can make it beautiful, no problem. And so then I'll play around with like adding collage to it, and then like stitching
mm,
on it. And then it's not like I have to find something to do with it because I already have the little projects lined up. And then I can be like, oh, I have enough time to work on this today, so I'll work on that
mm.
today. And, it's just, to me, it's like a nice thing because I have like a little area on my work table that always has a small project. So, like, say my day goes sideways and I start kind of spinning and I need to like reel it back in. I'll just pick up my little project and I'll work on it a little bit. And I swear, like in 5 minutes, I'm like, I can do anything again. So then if
Mm.
I'm done with it, I'm done with it. But otherwise, I just set it back down and I go about my day. And then sometimes I'll like usually stitch at night. Like, do you ever do that in the wind down of the day? Like, if you're doing like tons of admin and computer work and you're just like, okay, my 15-minute timer went off. It's now time to maybe make a cup of tea and just do a little stitching or whatever. And then I'm just like, okay, then I can like leave the studio and leave everything at the studio. I don't
Mm.
bring it back into my space when I go into the house. I'm like, okay, I've left the studio. It's done. I did my thing that tells me the day is over, and I can just like go in, go for a walk or go do whatever, and like tomorrow gets to be a new day.
Yeah, that's delightful hearing that you have all of that. My goodness, again, there's a lot in there, but just having a project, a small project that you put down, pick up as and when, and like you say, just um, recognizing that you need some time to sit and stitch. And that then just kind of pulls the day back into focus again, and you're, in a better place. You're feeling, centered, grounded, relaxed, all of the good things that stitching can bring. And then you're
Mhm.
ready to, like you say, you can do anything,
Yep. Yep.
literally.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's great. And I just think back to this one time where this is again, we referring back to the 2020, the pandemic. I was on the phone literally for hours to try and figure out insurances at the time,
Oh.
getting so cranky, and I happened to have some stitching nearby, and so I sat and I stitched, and it was amazing just how beneficial it was to be able to work on that project. And I love that you apply that principle today to any time that things you just need a little bit of grounding.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of grounding, yeah, and I
Mm.
think we were more aware of that then too, and then when life really started happening again, I think you forget how, important some of those little things are and how much of an impact something so small can have, you know?
Mm.
It's like even meditating for a minute or closing your eyes just for a minute and just like breathing, like, yeah, you don't have time, like maybe you don't have 5 minutes, maybe you don't have 10 minutes, but like try just a minute. Sometimes it's like all you need. You're like, yeah, okay, cool, I can do it, done.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think we always think that it's going to take all, like it has to be this whole production. And sometimes it can just be like, think about peekaboo when you're a little kid and just close your eyes and disappear. just for a moment.
I love it.
I'm
That's
invisible. My eyes are
such a
closed.
good
I'm invisible.
And why not?
Yeah.
And like you say, and this, it's one breath, 1 minute with your projects. You're cutting it up into much smaller projects, so everything becomes manageable rather than thinking we need to spend all day in our studio or
Yeah.
those kind of thoughts. Just breaking it down so it is accessible, and quite often once you get started, you don't want to stop anyway.
Well, yeah, there's always that, which,
Yeah,
is great
that's the
too.
thing. But you can always find 5 minutes. And like you say, if you've got these little projects that are lying around and you can just pick them up and put them down, then that just makes everything, you know, so much better.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And
stuff.
to change tack somewhat, Heidi, I know one of the big projects that you were working on last year and maybe the beginning of this year was a book. I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about the process, what you were writing about, and all of the good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I wrote a natural dye book. It was actually the second book proposal I did, and it started in the dye book started in like the later part of 2024, just like getting the proposal ready and kind of like figuring stuff out. And uh, yeah, it was one of those where like conceptually a book seems like so much, and then you break it down, and you're like, oh no, it's actually pretty manageable, and then you get going on, and you're like, oh my god, no, it's so much. And it was like parts of it were super super fun, and parts of it were really really difficult. Um, but it like as I kept like kind of going through it and going through it, I was like, wow, like I am learning a lot, but I don't think I ever realized like how much I actually knew about
Mm,
natural dyeing. I mean, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's just sort of like all these things, and also just it gave me a permission to play a lot, like not so much in like the writing with the words and the descriptions and like the da 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 part, but like going out and like finding plants because I did 75 plants. Well,
mm,
72 plants, two bugs, and one mushroom. And like the bugs I couldn't harvest, but but like the majority of the plants were like plants in my landscape, which I'd started really exploring that natural dye process also during 2020. And just how much I learned then, and then how much I continued to learn. And I don't know if the weather in Australia had shifted, but like California and Australia had been on fire a lot of the time at the same time and for the same reason because of the drought. And
mm,
our weathers has shifted, and we have a rainy season again after like 5 years, but it changed all my harvest times. It changed the intensity of the colors from the leaves I
mm,
was gathering. Like I
mm,
like I was so stressed out. Like I think it started in August of last year when I was like, why can't I gather these plants? They're not ready yet. Or I was gathering them and I was like, these are not the colors I should be getting. Like the color
mm,
intensity isn't what it should be and all this. And then I really started looking at things and I was like, it's the weather. Like and then I was finding abundance in some plants that I wasn't harvesting because they were too little, they were too frail. I didn't want to damage the plant. And then I'm like, whoa, this is. I mean, it felt so kind of magical and unbelievable and very very stressful, but it was an incredible experience because I was just like, I would have never thought that would have had that much of an impact. But of
mm,
course it would, because
mm.
that's how nature happens. Um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was really, really, really interesting, like that part of it. Um, yeah, and then I got to work with a lot of plants that I had always wanted to, but hadn't yet. So it also gave me kind of a reason to sort of um, take time to go and explore and find these things and like yeah and play with them. And yeah, it was really incredible. And then I did all the illustrations for the book too,
Yeah.
which that was maybe not the best the smartest thing. I mean, it's important because like I feel like drawing and illustrating is definitely part of who I am and part of like what honey folk is and that. But that was a lot because it was all I had to draw everything on my iPad. And I mean, not it didn't have to be on an iPad, but I had to illustrate everything electronically. And it was like figuring out the different tools that I needed for that, and then like sort of um my style sort of found its place. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is how I draw. And I had never really thought of having a specific drawing style before. It's like stitching. You stitch for a while and you may be doing something that somebody else is doing, but like you keep doing it and you find your voice. You find your vision. Like even if you're doing something in a style of somebody else's, like you come through that, and it's one of those I'm like, wow, I have a drawing style. When did that happen? I mean, I've had them before, but like I was just like, this I really all of a sudden I was like, I love drawing so much. I had no idea. So
Mm.
I was like, oh yeah. So that was also really, really, really fun. But yeah, and then
Yes.
just going through the process of working with a publisher that's in like London, and like going back and forth with that, because I am not, I mean, I'm on the computer to some degree, but I was on the computer so much. And like that part of it, I was like, oh, wow, I really don't like this. I mean, there's like, I was just like, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, good, check, I know that.
Mm, mm.
But yeah. So it was an interesting process. And then to physically get a book that I didn't know it was going to be a hardback. It was a hardback. I was like, wow, this is really beautiful.
How delightful that you had such a great experience to that too, because it's such a labor of love, the amount of time that you spent researching, collecting, creating, writing, drawing. Then there, like you say, there's the communication side of things and the computer side of things. So it's wonderful that you've ended up with something that is probably even better than what you were anticipating.
Oh, hugely, like way more amazing than I thought it like anything could be. Like it was just sort of like, wow. Like
Mm.
I think I'm still like, I think it's gonna take me probably the rest of the year to process it and be like, I'm just like, I'm an author. I never thought I'd be an author. Like, I never thought I would write a book. That was never a goal in my life. And I'm like, would I write another one? I need to write some notes to remind myself just in case. So I remember what I like about it and what I don't like about it, and keep that in mind of like, is it something I could do again? How would
Mm.
I change that process? Which same with sewing or a project. It's like, okay, I like these things. I didn't like these things. So when I go to create something new, like, what do I do to make sure I enjoy the experience? Yeah,
And
yeah. And then it
that's
feeds you creatively.
Yeah, and it's such a great way of doing things because despite best intentions, our memories do have a tendency to fade. And so to make those notes so that you can refer back to them and go, oh, yeah, that's right. Whether it's a project, a book, something you're creating with the stitching,
Yeah,
just to kind of like prompt those memories to what you would like and what you'd change, all that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And Heidi, for people who'd like to know more about your book, where do you like to suggest people go to purchase the book?
Oh, I highly recommend everybody support their local bookstores. So anybody who has like a local independent bookshop, like go and buy your book there or have them order it. I know, or even to your library and suggest your library order it so that you could check it out or somebody else could check it out. Otherwise, I you can get it on like bookshop.org, which they support small independent bookstores, and so that's another site. I think I have an affiliate link in several places, so I don't get royalties. So if you use my affiliate link, it's it's helpful, but it's not necessary. Um, and then I don't currently sell them on my website. I keep going back whether or not to do that. But yeah, online. But I always try to encourage people to buy them from someplace other than Amazon. But I know Amazon's a necessary evil, and I don't want to yuck on anyone's yum. But I was like, if you can, like, support the small stores, like, you know, just try to
Yeah,
do that. Or maybe
yeah.
in your local craft store, because I know there's like a lot of like yeah, like little craft stores and things like that. I know like locally, I mean, I'm a local author, so of course they do, but like a lot of shops around where I live have the book. But I
Oh,
think they would maybe have it even if it wasn't my book. I'd like to think they would have it even if I wasn't a local author.
Let's say
Right,
so.
right, yeah, 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 so,
Well,
yeah.
thank you. We will get your affiliate link so that we can share that with the world for people who are interested in getting a copy of your book. And Heidi, I am aware of our time, and
Oh, I mean,
as
this
love
is
as much as I would love to talk to you all day, I probably should wrap up.
yes,
But before I
yes.
do, I'd love to know, what are you going to be sharing with us at Making Zen this year?
Oh, oh, let me go grab them. I was I was just I was so excited to talk to you, Kate. I completely forgot. But these are what we're making. We're making, oh,
Oh,
my fingernails are really chipped. Sorry. But yeah, they're
that's
these really cute little button pouches that are totally lined. And they're like a good skill builder, but they're also really simple because, button, adding the loop, and the lining is I think it's a fun way to line something. So hopefully, yeah, I would say it's very beginner friendly and also a good skill builder. And even if you're like more advanced, I think you'll still really enjoy making them. Um,
mm,
yeah, yeah,
mm.
yeah,
And just kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, fabulous projects to have on the go when you just want to sit down 15 minutes, recenter, regroup, and
yeah,
you've got something delightful that you can gift at the end of the day too,
yeah.
because we're getting close to that time of the year, heaven forbid.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, really, like, wouldn't you love this? Like, you could even hang a bunch of them on your tree or, like, send them out in the mail. I mean, I used kind of a big button, but you can use a much flatter button. But, like, they're small, so you could stick them in an envelope and, like, send them as
Mm.
little gifts with, like, a little sweet, "I'm thinking about you" note or piece of candy, I don't know, whatever.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
it. Oh, how exciting. That's so,
yeah,
so delightful. I can't wait. I'm going to have to give making one of those a go and do what you do and cut up a big project and turn
yeah,
it into some manageable small gifts. Huh,
yes,
there you go.
yeah. It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
Oh, that's wonderful. Heidi, thank you so much for your time today. It's so lovely to connect. Congratulations on creating a beautiful book that is such a wonderful feather in your hat that you can then share with the world.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to participate in Making Zen again. And I can't wait to see what everyone else is making and watch some other people's videos and make some other cool stuff. And so yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
You're most welcome. I'm just thrilled. And like you say, it's going to be a delight for the senses. There's going to be so much goodness.
Yes, yes, all the goodness. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you for joining me in this creative journey. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And if you'd like to learn more about Making Zen, please check out the links below where you can find out all about the workshops, creativity, community, and all that kind of good stuff. Wishing you many happy hours of stitching.